Caution, you're going to learn about the Battle of Kadesh right now. Hello, I'm Cody and you're watching The Pharaoh Factor. Today we are debating if the great pharaoh Ramesses II lied about the Egyptian victory at Kadesh. We have a team now to debate the truth of the matter. Today we have our pro-Egyptian debater, Dr. Gavin Hawk, our Hittite debater, James Ramsey, and Max Zacher, ancient Egyptian warrior. Now, warrior, I'll begin with you. You were at Kadesh. What happened?
I was a member of the Amun division, the one that Pharaoh Ramesses himself led. Ramesses was a brave man, or maybe just brash. We marched against the Hittites to recapture Kadesh, but all four of the army's divisions were spread out, at least a mile apart from another. When we reached Kadesh, a few nomads gave Pharaoh some slightly shady information.
Shady? It was flat out wrong and he believed it.
Hey, give Ramesses a break. He was only in the 5th year of his reign when all this happened.
Okay, let the warrior talk.
Anyway, the two Bedouins told us the Hittite army was nowhere near Kadesh, so we set camp on the northwest of town. But our scouts found 2 Hittite spies prowling around near our camp. After we tortured them for information, we learned that the Hittites were actually camped on the other side of town waiting for us. Pharaoh was a little off on his previous information.
Now, hold up, I think we have actual footage from the battle to collaborate.
On the following day, another division, Ray, forded a nearby river in an effort to reconnect with us at camp. The Hittites ambushed them with nearly 2,500 chariots. Those Egyptians that were not killed fled, with the more veteran troops returning to the safety of our camp slightly north of the ambush. Once the Hittites attacked us in our camp, everything became very chaotic. It was difficult to know exactly what was going on, but because the Hittite chariots were without infantry support and were bogging down in our camp, they were vulnerable to archers and infantry from the Ta division that arrived at the battlefield just in time to save the day, along with the valiant efforts of our pharaoh, who of course smited countless foes.
I can't imagine the fear you've had to overcome. Now, Dr. Hong, on to you. We have all heard of the victory of Pharaoh Ramesses II at Kadesh from all the inscriptions and monuments from Karnak to Abu Simbel. Yet people are now doubting the word of Pharaoh. Was the Battle of Kadesh the total victory Pharaoh will have us believe?
Of course, Cody. Ramesses himself gave his account of the amazing victory over the Hittite Empire. The pharaoh was...
But he was a politician, Kevin, a politician. They lie all the time.
Cody. We can speculate all we want, but the inscriptions on the temple walls and obelisks are first-hand information. The inscriptions themselves say Ramesses was effective of counsel and good of plan. The pharaoh was an expert tactician. According to his inscriptions, he saved his army on the day of fighting, and he was a great protector of his chariotry. The king brought home his followers and rescued his infantry. Sure, the story the Egyptians tell is a little pompous, but would you really not believe the pharaoh whose words have been the record for nearly 3 millennia?
Of course we wouldn't. That little pompous story said Ramesses killed hundreds of thousands of people with his bare hands. Ramesses was the reason the Egyptians had such a catastrophe at Kadesh, just going by what Ramesses himself said. He was careless and inexperienced. He charged headfirst into a den of nearly 50,000 enemies, squandering his numerical advantage he had by spreading his entire army miles apart while the Hittites had failed to deploy most of their infantry.
Those were perfectly acceptable tactics at the time. Most battles were small and didn't need all army divisions at one time.
Alright, final 30. Your comment?
Well, he wouldn't even have needed to save his army anyway if he didn't get into that position in the first place. The king actually believed 2 random tribesmen who just decided to show up and say, "Oh no, the mighty Hittite empire got scared and won't actually be at their own town to defend it today. Don't worry." Ramesses just got lucky that he decided to torture the next group of random people to show up at camp and learn the obvious. And speaking of luck, the only reason he made it out alive was because the army he forgot to bring along showed up at the perfect time while the Hittites were busy looting. And at the end of the day, we can argue who won the battle as long as we like. It certainly wasn't the Egyptians, but the Egyptians had to retreat, and the Hittites were even able to capture the land of Upi to the south.
Alright, Pharaoh goes in, Pharaoh goes out. You can't explain that. I think the truth will probably be found in the middle. Now we're out of time for Kadesh. Coming up after the break, a hit ancient Egyptian.